Hi everyone, I promise you that I create another video of the Unreal Engine 5 demo Matrix Awakens. This is again captured on the PlayStation 5. And I decided to spend more time again in the free roam because it allows me to see what this engine is capable of. This is by far the most impressive things that I actually seen running on the PlayStation 5 and on my PC in general. This is just the most impressive thing I've ever seen in any game, in any experience ever. Ever. To be honest, when I first got into this world, I just couldn't believe it. Now, I got used to it, but still, when I look even now, after kind of recording this voiceover after the video, I'm still blown away. Just seeing it. I just can't believe that it's like, that's a real thing running on the PlayStation 5. But of course, keep in mind, it can run on PC, on Xbox, right? So it's not like this is something exclusive for the PlayStation 5. But the PlayStation 5 can do it. Imagine what, for example, a high-end PC can do. We probably can push this optimization even further with something even more impressive. But the thing is that you just this game engine kind of laugh at things. I mean, it shows you that if the PlayStation 5 can run it, I mean, even lower hardware, you can really, I think, create some really amazing stuff that are really impressive. You can even push it down, not just up, right? So even lower hardware can actually look amazingly good. But I don't know again about very detailed optimization for this, but I know that on the PlayStation 5, it just look absolutely amazing. Now that's the moment, well, I probably should have taken the blue pill. But the thing is that when you segment things, you see something that looks like a video recording, like so realistic, and then everything just changed to digital. It strikes you in a way, because then when you see it usually in games, you're not that impressed. But when you see something so realistic, so photorealistic, I mean, and you see the changes, how it actually works behind the scenes. You can see how the nanite structured, something that looks just 3D, digital. It just blows you away. And of course, you can play with this. You can move, so you can see actually how the nana changes. You can see how the resolution changes. So how actually the technology works behind the scene. Now, also, of course, roaming around, checking the texture quality. It doesn't matter where you go. The texture quality is super, super sharp. I could actually read the text on this one. There's small text there. I could actually read it. So there's no limitation on the texture quality and on the amount of, the resolution of your 3D model. You can really use some really impressive, detailed 3D assets, high resolution textures, and it will just work. So basically, the heavy lifting is done by the game engine, and you can create some amazing worlds and just let the engine do its thing. And you probably want to ask if I encounter any frame drops. Well, nothing. It's super, super smooth. Felt super smooth. There's not like, all right, I got into a situation where it was like, no, no. Everything just super smooth. Again, on the PlayStation 5. Now keep in mind that the green tint you see here is just a filter because they wanted to kind of create a Matrix feeling, like you are in the Matrix. But again, you can actually move it if you like. Look at this 3D model, how detailed this 3D model is. Very rounded, right? Lots of details here. Doesn't matter. And all the world is like that, full of really detailed areas. And it's a big city, by the way. Keep in mind, there's a limit how much you can go, but it's not a limitation of how much you can actually put for the game engine to render. It's because you just didn't want to create like an endless space, right? You need time for this, but the game engine can literally support. You can create any size of what you like, right? You just put a limit for this demo. That's it. And of course, you can see no loading screen, right? You just move and it just shows you things. So this is like the limit where you actually I wanted to see if I can actually move more. But again, you could have created more, but just put a limit for this demo. So that's actually where the part where you can actually go through if you try. The water also effects here are not impressive, but again, this is kind of a end section, so I didn't expect them to invest in it. Now, if you're like me, you're probably thinking, oh my god, I want to play a Spider-Man game here. Yeah, you're right. And I tried to imagine how it would be like playing like a Spider-Man. That's what I try to do. And yeah, Here I'm actually trying to Spider-Man myself, kind of, which moving with, one building to the other. It just felt amazing. So think about a Spider-Man game like this, in a game like this. Now, one thing I wanted to do and I couldn't is checking the destruction. Now, this demo doesn't support it, but it does support, by the way, is the ability to collide with other cars and see how it actually affects the physics and the car structure. So basically, you can take a car, you can get into cars, and when I realized this, of course, I was pumped. I didn't expect the cars to actually collide and have something, but don't worry about people. This is the Matrix, right? They're actually not people. They're just illusions, right? And I try to bump into things and just look at the car. First of all, look at the texture. And the accuracy, the way I actually bumped into the car affected super accurately. By the way, you can see I wasn't really impressed with the reflection of the window. Anyway, you can actually see how the deformation actually happened with the car and the detail of the deformation. You can actually I'm going to show you, take a closer look. Look at this. Look at the texture, the marks. I'll actually bump into it. And when you bump, you can actually see that part of the area that was actually intersected with this was actually curved. You can see it there. Even the number plate was actually distorted. Crazy. So this is something I didn't expect, and I was very impressed that it was actually there. And of course, we can just take a car and just roam. And you're probably thinking about GTA 6, right? I know you're thinking about that. And imagine a GTA 6 in such beautiful, believable, realistic environment. I don't know if everybody will prefer this, but for me it would be just more immersive to play. But probably your mind is probably racing, thinking about all the different games, how they look like. Some of them can be, by the way, look realistic like this one. Other can just look something, a fantasy world with very detailed environment as well. Again, we are not limited to just what you see here. Now, I didn't find an option to turn it into night, by the way, only to change the angle of the sun. But when you start the demo, you can actually see partly night view, but again, should look beautiful as well. Look how stunning it is. And look how fast I'm actually moving, and you don't see anything change, right? You just see the same thing. But of course, the engine does things behind the background to optimize it. Otherwise, it wouldn't run that smooth. Now, another thing you should notice is how natural the world feels, right? The way people move. Somebody actually just whistle there, and sometimes people just shouting things, and the car moving. All these things kind of come together to really, even the sky, right? Look at this. The clouds. Everything just feels so convincing. And they can't really fool you because we are experienced in watching reality. We experience reality every single second of our life. So it's very hard to, to cheat us. We know how it should look like. And of course, there are some compromises here and there. But if you look at the whole picture, if you are convinced, well, I can say for myself that I was very much convinced. There was also something magical just landing, controlling the camera and moving in such a realistic experience with the camera. It's like, wait a second, not too long ago, you need a render farm to render beautiful scenes like this to look so realistic. And it took me, I remember when I did some 3D modeling things, it took me hours. Now I'm moving in real time in a super realistic environment. It's just mind-blowing. And I'm from the 3D studio era. So seeing things like this, just again, this is just again unreal. All right, here I'm going to show you a bit of more of the collision. I decided to just bump against some cars. By the way, the physics of the car was actually very good. Felt very good. So I just tried to bump against things. There was a guy actually just shouting at me there. You can, by the way, remove the cars. I'm going to show you soon. You can move the people. Nobody will shout at you, no worries. I just want to check the things, you know, and collusion look up. It looks amazing. I'm feeling like that's why I want it in VR. I want to get there. I want to see it. But again, on the Oculus Quest 2, it doesn't even look that great. I think because of the resolution of the screen and the field of view. Still, in future VR applications, is going to be amazing, or maybe some of the more expensive headsets, if it was to support it. Yeah, it's not supporting it. You see the physics? Brilliant, huh? The doors, how the door move. You see that also the when I bumped against it, the light, the backlight was actually also affected by it. You see? Crazy, huh? Like the AI for the electronics of the car. Of course not. I mean, we just the way they design is just so impressive. Look at the car. Alright, the last thing I want to show you in this video is actually controlling the amount of cars and people. So you can actually remove them, as you can see, completely. By the way, in the future with mixed reality, you'll be able to erase people, cars and people out of your view if you like. You'll be able to control the noise, everything in mixed reality in the future. It would be insane. You really can control the environment. You can actually erase buildings, move things around. You can just change things that are real to actually change them with digital content the way you want to. It's be crazy. I mean, when I play with this, I kind of am more connected to the mixed reality experience, how it would be like, in a way. But again, right now let's focus on what we have in front of us, Unreal Engine 5. By the way, you can also play with photo mode. You can play with it, for example, exposure compensation. You can change the aperture. If you know it's for a mobile phone or your photographer, you know that when you increase the number, the aperture, you get a wider field of view, so everything appears sharp compared to the area you actually focus at. Or if you use a lower numbers, you actually get shallower. I mean, the depth of field is smaller, and we get kind of a more shallow depth of field effect you can see here. So if I increase, for example, the aperture number, I'm going to get a sharper image. Same goes, by the way, to the focal length, which also affects the depth of field. Right. So if I increase, for example, the focal length number, I get more. I decrease the I decrease the depth of field. Super cool. So if you want to take some pictures, it's not something complicated, it's just very simple. There's no something fancy here. Just toying around with things. Again, very basic, but you know, it's there if you want to. So overall, I'm very impressed with the demo. I find myself, I want to play so many other games, but I find myself just staying in this world, want to play more and more and more. Play, in quotations. This is because this is something new. This is something exciting. This is next gen in front of my eyes. Right there. Interactive. Hopefully we get to see some more amazing games made with Unreal Engine 5, hopefully in 2022, because this is something else. This will make developers the ability to create worlds that we never seen before. So this is it for this video. Consider leaving a like and subscribe to my channel. More coming. I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. I'm gonna get back and try some more. Cheers.